the player with 7 years of experience, the 35% of the max. And it was,
that's not really why it was done. The reason the Supermax was created was because when Kevin Durant was a free agent in 2016, the Thunder had no way to pay him really more than anybody else to a point where they could really find out whether he was going to stay there or not.
That's what.
And so, well, no,
isn't that what I just said?
Well, you said take the. I mean, that's not. I would say that what it was doing was setting up the choice, so the team would know whether the guy would want to stay there or not.
Well, but that's like if Wendy says, Bontemps, you're a bozo, and I say, Bontemps, you're a doofus. We're saying the same thing.
Well, I think it's just worth laying out that that's where it came from, that the Thunder sat there, didn't know if the guy was going to stay or not. And then he left and they got left with nothing. So now the way this has been set up now, nobody's turned it down yet, but it's been set up so teams know ahead of time, either the guy's going to extend or he's not. And then they have the option to decide to trade him or not.
Right. The difference that the Warriors and the Thunder could pay Durant or any free agent over the first 4 years of that contract was negligible.
Yeah, it was a percentage of raises.
It was a couple of percentage points. I mean, it was significant money, but it wasn't enough to be the difference. Now, they could guarantee a fifth year, but, LeBron had sort of set the precedent that getting a fifth year wasn't important because he took 2 contracts right in a row that were less than 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, the thing about it is that rule was put in to protect the Oklahoma Cities and Clevelands of the world from a player wanting to go to a bigger market. But in the case of Donovan Mitchell, he is not eligible for the Supermax. The Cavs are not given the protection of the Kevin Durant rule because he was traded during his fund max. He signed, if you are traded after your rookie contract, you cannot get the Supermax. So the All-NBA thing, while it's a big deal for a number of players, and obviously for Tyrese Halliburton, whether he is going to get the Rose provision, Ant Edwards, it was a big. This was a thing for Pascal Siakam. Siakam wasn't real crazy about Jaylen Brown. He got the Supermax, but Pascal Siakam wasn't real crazy about getting traded from the Raptors because if he did, he'd become ineligible for the Supermax if he made All-NBA. And it got to the point where it was kind of clear the Raptors weren't going to give him the Supermax anyway, so he ended up getting traded.
Also, it's pretty clear he wasn't going to be eligible for it, but yes.
Yeah, but you know what? You didn't know that because there's a bunch of guys who are going to be ineligible and the what it takes to get the Supermax, like, for example, a guy in that situation this year is Bam Adebayo. Now, in years past, you might say, well, Bam Adebayo, as good as he is, probably going to make All-NBA because you've got these centers who are all studs. I mean, you're penciling in Jokic and Embiid on 1 and 2, teams 1 and 2. And you're like, how does he fit in there? Well, Embiid isn't going to be eligible. Plus there's no positions on the All-NBA this year. So All-NBA is like, it's impossible to predict. And so the point is Donovan Mitchell not getting All-NBA isn't going to affect the Cavs' ability to keep him like it would have with other players. So he's headed for the same basically set of decisions that he has this summer when Cleveland offers the extension is not. But he is almost certainly not going to get the 65-game threshold, even though by all accounts he would be a no-brainer.
NBA on ESPN.